The fence was built back in the 1950s. It was built by the landholders. The materials were supplied free of charge by the government to landholders, and that's when they first put it up. Around the 70s to the 80s, the fence started to fall into disrepair. Commodity prices and drought sort of made it lose its priority with the landholders. So about the 80s, early 80s, the government decided that they would get back involved with it and put an injection of $3.5 million into the fence to bring it back into a reasonable condition again. Part of the original fence was cut across and was cut off, and there was a new realignment from Tambo through to Windora, which gives us 2,500 kilometres of fence that we have now. The purpose of the barrier fence is to have a continuous line of protection. The dirty side is the northern and western side of the barrier fence. It's there to stop the infiltration of further dogs coming into the protected area, and it gives the landholders inside that protected area a better opportunity to control their pests. The barrier fence starts in the east at Bell near Jandowie. It travels west, north of Injune, and up north of Tambo. It cuts in on the eastern side of Windora and travels south down to the New South Wales barrier fence and meets the barrier fence there southwest of Thargomindah. We've got 20 staff that work on the barrier fence. 16 of those staff are patrolmen, which patrol the barrier fence at least once a fortnight. The barrier fence is split up into 4 patrols on an eastern division and 4 patrols on a western division, and they're manned by 2-man patrols. We've got 2 full-time machinery operators, graders, that travel the fence and do the corrective work on the roads and drains along the fence, and 2 management positions. There's a lot of things that affect the barrier fence and its condition in the way of damage. Obviously, we have the feral animals like pigs that causes some problem. There's stock as well, like cattle, that damage the fence. Natural disasters can be pretty devastating for us. Rain events, even high winds. When the fence was originally constructed, the specifications it was built to was 1.8 metres high and 300 millimetres buried into the ground. So we've got a buried or trenched netting in the bottom of the fence all the way through. This is a very good example of why the wild dog barrier fence buries its material into the ground 300 mil. A dog's come along here, it's had to dig around, it's tested the fence, it's dug down, and all the way down where it's been digging, it's found the netting that's underneath the ground, and it's given up and it's moved along. Along the barrier fence, we've got 28 camps that are spread out over that 2,500 kilometres, and these camps are fairly well maintained, a bit like a donga. And the patrolmen stay at those camps overnight. They move from one camp to the next camp as they travel along and inspect the fence.